This out. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio. It's just after 9 o'clock on a beautiful Tuesday morning, and Dr. Aaron Chapa with Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is here in studio. We're going to be continuing our talk from last week. There's been a lot of fun things that we've gone through, even in 2021. It's already March. I can't believe it. So we're on our third topic, and this one's very interesting. It has to deal with shrinking fat, and I think a lot of us would. I know myself, I'd benefit from hearing this. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but that's an important thing to me, right?
Isn't it funny that we can't
I can't say that.
Can't say it for everybody else, but at the end of the day, everybody has stuff around the middle or excess, baggage, junk. What my wife will say, junk in the trunk. There's all kinds of things that we don't particularly like when it comes to aesthetics, and fat loss, weight loss is a very big topic in the health and wellness world. Everybody wants to be healthy, but really they want to look good. And I think that it is just something that needs to be talked about. We kind of have to just deal with the quote-unquote elephant in the room and be willing to address the underlying challenges that prevent people from losing weight or getting the results they're after in their health care. Obviously, weight loss is a part of any, I think, good healthy program. But what is it that we're really after is what does good health look like? You shouldn't go in to a health clinic like our office and try to come in only for weight loss. If you come in with just weight loss as a goal, there's a lot of easier ways to go about doing it, but it might not necessarily be the healthiest way. I remember a book that I read a while back by Philip Maffetone called In Fitness and in Health. He said there's people fit enough to run a marathon, but they're not healthy enough to run a marathon, and that's why oftentimes the stress of running causes more negative impacts on their body than it does benefit. Then there's people that are healthy enough to run a marathon, but they're not fit enough to get it done, and therefore they can't make it to the end effectively and efficiently. And I think that goes to the same of the conversation around what are healthy, reasonable, rational, adult time frame set goals for healthcare. I always like to paint the picture of the oak tree. When's the best time to plant an oak tree, Gardy?
That'd be 30 years ago.
30 years ago. All day long, every day. I wish I would have. You know what I mean? But we can't should on ourselves. It's no good. It's smelly and it doesn't work too good. And you shouldn't want to, blame or have regrets. You just start today, because when's the next best time?
You got to start today.
And you start wherever you're at, no matter what age you are or how old you are, or same thing, or what your health status is. You get going now, and you'll start seeing results in areas that you didn't realize were affecting you negatively, because too often people blame age or circumstances on why their brain doesn't work, and they can't remember their names, numbers, or words. They can't remember why they walk into a room. They can't remember their grocery sheets when they go to the store, and they're just like wandering around aimlessly going, I came in here for something. You know what I mean? And I know some of it is just flat out we're busy and we forget things, but I'm talking when people legitimately are struggling for that word, or they disassociate, they rename a word. So instead of saying water, they say the wet stuff, or rain stuff, that rain, you know what I mean? Like it's water, but when that starts happening, then there's some really neurological glitches going on. Or what if it's, skin rashes? Or what if it's the wrinkles that are coming on too early, gray hairs that are coming on too early? Nothing wrong with those things, except whenever they happen too early. What if you can maintain the collagen matrix? What if you have enough mineral status concentrated in your tissues and your body doesn't start deviating towards the accelerated aging curve? There's nothing wrong with aging. I don't want to discourage it. It's going to happen. You might as well embrace it.
Yeah.
But if we can control what we can control, let's do so. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that through good lifestyle practices. So at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we believe that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition, food is the fundamental backbone that allows you to get on track, move forward with your life, or unfortunately spiral down the old sick path. And nobody wants to go down that path, but very few people are willing to do what it takes to stay healthy or to do what it takes to get healthy if they're in a funky place. And that's a sad place. So when it comes to fat cells, we kind of left off last week not demonizing the fat cell. It was real simple to just get after that fat cell and say bad fat cell, bad fat cell, bad fat cell. Let's instead look and remind ourselves some of the benefits of what fat cells store and why they might do that. They actually may be a benefit to you, not necessarily a detriment to you. But the world has painted them as this evil little mongrel that seems to cause more harm than good, and I wanted to paint a picture that fat cells are not necessarily the bad guys. So they help regulate your metabolism. So how does a fat cell do that? The fat cell stores up toxins to prevent the metabolic processes from doing their job. If you got a bunch of people that show up to work today, but they're aimlessly just waiting around for their duties, that's a problem. Well, so when you got a lot of chemicals and metals and exposures to the elements, so to speak, that is from our processed food nature, the 4 deadly food additives, the most common adulterated foods, are all creating stress on our body. It confuses all cells to do their job effectively. So fat cells have the ability to store up these toxic chemicals, these toxic metals, and I always pick on my mom. Sorry, Mom, that you're probably listening. I love you, and so thankful that you listen. And all the
don't pick on your mom, Dr. Chapa. She's so sweet.
Yeah, because I'm actually really proud of her because I got a compliment today. Somebody said they saw her at our demo day event, and they go, "Your mom looks fantastic," and they said, how old is she? And I'm like, well, I can't really tell you. I can tell these guys, but I shouldn't say it on the radio. But I guess I will. We're going there, and she'll beat me later. But she's 73, and he goes, man, she looks awesome. And I'm saying, she is healthier at 73 than she was in her at 53. Six medications, 1 hormone, and in her 50s, and now she's drug free. And she's been drug-free for a long time. And her body looks completely different at 73 than it did at 53. Mm-hmm. With all the medications, her cells were bloated up. She looked bloated, and she felt bloated. She didn't feel good. And she'll tell you she feels better today than she did then. And so I'm not saying anything that she would tell us. But she still gets into the Cokes. Right, she'll drink a Coke a day. I know she's rolling her eyes right now, and
tattletale.
I know. Maybe she's not hearing this part.
Yeah,
I don't know, Mom. God bless you.
Close your ears.
Yeah, that's right. But inside of the Coca-Cola is this stuff called high fructose corn syrup. It's an additive. It's what Sherry Tenpenny and many of other people in my orbit call the 4 deadly food additives, and high fructose corn syrup is laden with synthesized corn syrups that have been adulterated and mutated and filled full of mercury and all kinds of other preservatives that cause a derailment to the nervous system. So it can disrupt the way the cells communicate. So if you don't have good healthy fat cells can act like storage facilities for some of these things. They will come on the scene and they will store up your junk. Now, you don't like that, but at the same time you do it because every one of us probably knows somebody that has a storage facility that they pay money for every month, and they don't even know what's in that thing.
Just a bunch of Coke and soda.
Yeah, Coke and soda. That's right. That's where you keep it. That's right, Gordy. And so the fat cell supports your immune system. It can help produce hormones and proteins. Your fat cells assist the liver in processing and removing fat and toxins. So remember, these are healthy fat cells, right? So they assist muscles in balancing blood sugar. Again, only healthy fat cells. If you have fat cells that are unhealthy, full of toxins, and you have a lot of excess, what I would call abdominal fat, low back fat, these are the indications that you've got toxicity built up in and around the core of your vital organ systems. That's dangerous fat. We don't want that kind, because fat cells can store up excess hormones. Well, whenever we're stressed out, one of the major hormones that is produced is a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol causes the body to shift into a fat storing state. You got 6 hormones that burn body fat and 3 that store it. So anytime adrenaline, insulin, or cortisol are stimulated, and stress is a major trigger, eating cookies, candies, cakes, ice creams is a major trigger. Overindulgence in volume of food is a major contributor to these particular hormones. It can disrupt it can activate these hormones, and they will shut off all 6 of your fat-burning hormones.
So adrenaline can do that?
Adrenaline shuts it off, cortisol shuts it off, and insulin shuts it off.
Okay.
And so when that happens, think of how hard it is now to lose weight. Instead of it being a 2-to-1 ratio to lose weight, now it's like, not as easy as it sounds,
Yeah, it's your body going like in a stressful, like survival mode type situation.
That's right. And so your body immediately only turns on the survival mechanisms, your fight or flight response. With the amount of chemicals that we put on our body through skincare, the amount of makeup that women wear, the amount of hair products that are being put in, sorry ladies, builds up excessive amounts of estrogen. The fat cell, a healthy fat cell, has the ability to store that for you in a safe environment, because you can't use all of that. But the problem is it leaks. It's not an exact perfect, climate controlled, sealed up area. Things leak out, and then it can create disruption in your other hormonal pathways. And so we've got to be mindful that we're being exposed, all of us, food and chemicals. You might be somebody that says, well, I don't do the hair dyes and I don't do all that stuff. Okay, but what about, even if you're eating perfectly, you're still getting exposed to things that you don't want to be exposed to, and your body just constantly needs an overhaul at the fat level. And that's what we're talking about this month, is making sure that we get people to see that detoxification is an important piece of the game. Taking care of your liver, taking care of your bowels, taking care of your lymphatic system. And so we wanted to talk about, how do we shrink fat in a toxic world? Well, we've got to make some choices. Are you up against a precipice? I hope not. I hope that you don't have like a disease or a diagnosis that is causing you to have to change. But I hope that you are painting a picture of what you want your life to look like 5 years from now, what you want your life to look like 25 years from now, 100 years from now. Like at the end of it, when it's all done, if you could maximize your longevity, you get the most out of life, and then if you could get the vitality in a way so that your energy's up, your mental clarity is up, what would you do with your life? Anybody have any ideas? I mean, I want to be fully functional in spirit, mind, and body. I want to be growing closer to the Lord. I want to be growing old with my wife. I want to become great friends with my kids as adults.
And their kids too.
And absolutely be able to be a voice in my grandkids' lives and share things that I remember, and I'm constantly learning new stuff. I mean, I was just watching an old movie. It took me like 5 days to watch it because I don't really have time to watch movies. But you know how like sometimes you're kind of just shutting down and unwinding. I'll take 10 minutes and I'll watch a movie, and then I'll shut it off, and then I'll do it again the next day. And but it was wild to see how different life was in the 90s compared to where we are even 30 years from, or prior. Like it's just like, wow, life is so different. And because you can get a taste of the culture in and through media. And there's a great book by Francis Schaeffer, How Then Should We Live? and it talks about looking at history, looking at art, looking at music, or listening to music, and getting a feel for what was acceptable, what was going on in the culture through even architecture. I mean, even the way the great historical monuments were created, and because they're all influenced. Like, it's impossible to not have a bias. You know, there's always some kind of bias we bring to a table, and just to see how life has shifted and how more politically correct we have to be. I mean, there's so many more eggshells we got to walk on today. That in and of itself, guys, is a stress, you know. And then when we don't have good quality food that we can depend on regularly, or even good quality air to breathe or water to drink, we have to start looking at things we can control. So we always go back to you're in more control than you realize. And so I've been painting a picture for people that fat is not the bad guy. It's what we're doing to our bodies that is allowing fat to get out of hand and become not healthy fat, but unhealthy fat. So you're not fat, you're just toxic. So fat cells are designed to protect us from toxins. They're designed to release toxins when it's safe. They will expand up to 7 to 10 times their normal size, just in case you need to have a little add-on, you know, because you get exposed to too much stuff. So if the body is never safe, the cells will never open up and release. And so we brought in this Zorona laser to help detoxify toxins out of the body. And it's not a magic wand, but it's definitely a helper, because everybody's heard of biohacking. You've heard of biohacking, right? You know, life hacks. You know,
yes.
Oh, look at these cool ways that you can do this with this, and it takes a 5-step process down to a 1 or a 2-step process. We look at this laser like that. It is a way that we can disrupt the fatty membrane of the external aspects of your cells to release toxins. And when you start releasing those toxins, we can provide a lifestyle practice to help your body mobilize those toxins for up to 7 days post-treatment. So it's a 40-minute treatment. You start seeing change in the fat cell inside of 4 minutes under the light. And we target these areas. And it is a great way to start up and to push your body into these detox processes, because so many people today have MTHFR issues. They have other type of methylation B vitamin glitches. They have all kinds of liver overloaded toxic buildup. Their bowels are backed up. They need extra support in getting these toxins to be released, and then they need additional support to mobilize this stuff out of the body, so it's not just getting recirculated and put back into a fat cell. You know, we don't want to just move it from this office to this office, or this closet to this closet, or this room to this room. We want to get rid of it, right? And so we have to look at, are we fat or are we toxic? And I know I just used the F word on the radio. So wrong of me. But I mean, is it okay to get the body to get rid of this stuff? And I'm going to say absolutely, and you can through proper detoxification. We've got to get the bowels working well. And so people have asked, what should we be eating when we're on doing the Zorona program? And the Zorona laser is, again, it's an FDA-approved device designed to get rid of, I think the average is about 6 to 7 inches in 6 weeks under the red light, under the laser therapy, and it vibrationally changes the cells. And then when we bring in food, what should you be eating? We push people towards more of a grain-free diet when we get rid of excessive amounts of bread, rice, cereal, pasta, potatoes, and corn, because they're overindulging. Most people, you don't hear people say, "Oh, I'm a veggie person." You say, "I'm a steak and potatoes kind of a guy," or I'm a carbitarian, or I love my pastries, or people are always reaching for the breads. I mean, they don't have a bushel of Brussels sprouts at the kid table or even at the,
right.
the Sunday school table on Sunday mornings. They always have donuts, or they have some sort of pastry or kolache. And Lord knows they taste good, but they're not necessarily good for your body. Nothing below your taste buds want it. And I mean nothing below your taste buds, like your cells. Your cells do not want the junk food when it comes right down to it. And so you can assess, first and foremost, we always have talked about this in the past, we start with a healthy breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day because your stomach is most active between 5 and 7 or 7 and 9 in the morning. And we want to make sure that you're getting a good, healthy, hearty breakfast because your stomach can break down the food better. It primes the day. It sets the blood sugar. It helps everything begin to regulate and set the sail for how the day is going to go. So if, at my son's football game, the coach goes, how many of you guys ate, garbage this morning for breakfast? Like, cereals and, cakes and cupcakes and donuts and stuff.
Did they all raise their hand?
And yeah, several of them did.
Cereal,
he goes, I have told y'all and I have told y'all. And, because he knows that good, healthy practice or good, healthy sportsmanship or good, healthy sport is going to be based on how well their blood sugar is maintained. And I remember watching G.I. Joes as a kid. At the end of the show, they would have some sort of like little health moment.
PSA.
Yeah, and they had perfect service announcement. And one of the G.I. Joes would encourage little Johnny to, instead of eating the candy before his basketball game, to eat an apple, or something of better quality. That didn't have a label, interestingly enough. And so we try to get people to eat foods that don't have labels. So you could do a meat and a vegetable. You could do, so it could be eggs, it could be sausage, it could be. I always steered people to eggs because the incredible edible egg is the perfect balance of fat, protein, and carbohydrate all blended together, and you can do some great things with it. And if you are somebody that gets nauseated when you eat in the morning, or even water makes you nauseated, that's an indicator, by the way, that your liver is not performing well. And so if you're doing the Zorona, you want to make sure that we're supporting the liver and taking care of that liver, making sure that it's performing at its max potential. And but we would come in and we would say, all right, well, we'll give you, and we're not anti-grain. We just want to make sure that we get you on the right grain. So we want to see, okay, maybe you need some gluten-free oats or some like steel-cut oats or something. Maybe we need to get you toward quinoa. Maybe we need to shift you towards some other type of healthier grain. We got to get you away from some of these synthesized bready products that people are reaching for, or the oatmeal that's packed full of sugar and fake preservatives that you microwave and boil out and ruin all the nutrient value that it might have had anyway. I mean, at that point, the paper's got more nutritional value than the oats inside the instant wrapper, And so you got to be thinking through what's driving your body to perform at a healthy level. So, because if we're going to take the time to lay under a laser to help our body get rid of fat cells or to get rid of the toxins in the fat cell, and we want the fat cell to be healthy on the flip side. There's no pain with this laser. There's no side effects. The benefit is it increases. So laser has the ability to penetrate across the cell membrane and wake up the cell with no badge, no access code. It can just come right on in. And so the body communicates in light frequencies. It communicates vibrationally with the core organelles inside the cytoplasm and wakes them up and shakes them up and gets them more active. And then we bridge that with proper blood sugar management, proper stress management, good water intake, good movement. I always like to say, if the dude don't move,
the dude don't groove.
The dude don't groove. So we've got to make sure that we are doing all those nice things. I love that you always have that.
It's a fact. It's on this towel right here.
It's on this. Yeah, it's been written, folks, written down. And we want to make sure that we promote healthy excretion of toxins, but we want to make sure that we maximize the lifestyle practices that come along with the program, because we don't want you just to think this is a magic wand. It's not a magic wand. It comes with a lifestyle attached to it, and I mean, and that bothers people. People really want to eat the way they want to, and look the way they want to, and it doesn't work. I had a patient kind of start saying that to her husband, and it really has just been true. You can't look like you want and eat like you want. It doesn't work. You can't be as healthy as you want and eat like you want. I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news. You know, the truth is that simple practices applied every day lead to something really successful and great. But on the contrary, bad practices practiced regularly every day is what my good friend Jim Rohn, God bless his soul, would say is mistake colossal. You know, you don't want to do things that could cause your body harm in the long run. And if you could see the harm, like if you took if you cut your arm, you know you can see damage immediately. So if you could see that some of the foods that you're eating is irritating the gut lining as if you were taking glass to your arm, you would be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. But you don't realize that tummy ache is an indication, or that nauseousness is an indication, or that skin rash is an indication, or that migraine is an indication of some sort of irritation that's disrupted inside the cell membranes. It's disrupted at the tissue level where the system is allowing nutrients to come across a barrier, and your vents just got cut open, and things are able to penetrate in there. You don't want a bleeding gut lining. It's not good, right?
It sounds terrible.
It is terrible. And we always want people to grab hold of the idea that you are in more control of your health than you realize. So I think that when we go through a program with any of our patients, we always first want to get an idea of where are they coming from. Like, I mean, do they have any concept that food is medicine? Do they have any concept that they're in control of their life more than they realize? And if we can start moving them one step, 1 degree in a direction where they're learning that their choices are dictating how those genes are going to express good health or bad health, then they start choosing a little bit more wisely. They're not going to be perfect, you don't have to be. But if you made 7 steps of progress forward and 3 steps back, you're still a net positive 4 at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year. And so if you just use the 70% rule, I like, let's eat 36 clean meals. That means making sure that there's no 4 deadly food additives. Make sure that it's not inside the 4 most adulterated foods: wheat, dairy, corn, soy. Let's make sure that we're going out of our way to avoid at least those. Because if you're avoiding at least those, then the easy stuff is not getting in and adulterating your own body. We don't want to mess up what we've got. And so I look at, somebody asked me yesterday, because I decided that I'm going to do a juice water fast every Monday for the next couple months, and see just what my body, how it does.
What day?
Every Monday.
Mondays, okay.
And so I went over to Main Squeeze in Webster. You got to go over and see Jeff. Him and his crew are really great, and they just take care of their people, and he takes care of the juice. He makes sure that he doesn't heat treat it. It doesn't pasteurize it. Doesn't homogenize it. I mean, it's the best quality you're going to get, and if it can be organic, it is. But I just want to give my body a digestive break once a week and see what we notice, because we were reading a study a couple weeks ago when we were looking at how to lengthen telomeres, which is in the DNA strands, and that it equates to longer life, longevity, how to activate vitality genes and upregulate the overall cell communication from head to foot, inside and out. We want to make sure everything's working like it's supposed to, like God created it to. And so they did a study on rats, of course, and they fed both group of rats the same food, but one group they had them eat every other day, and one group they got to eat every day. The rats that ate every other day lived 33% longer and more healthy than the rats that ate every day.
It's because of digestion? Less digestion?
I think there's something to that. I think that we have a consumption problem. We overeat in this country quite a bit. And what we overeat is not real anyway. So I think there is the average American is toting around 10 to 15 meals that is caked up inside of their gut lining, inside their bowels. And so if they give their body a digestive vacation, a solid food vacation, I like the idea of water fast, but I think that in the world that we live in, when we need our mind to be sharp and we need to perform and we need to sell and we need to promote and we need to do and hit deadlines and all the stresses that come along with it, I think that there's no problem in bridging the water fast to a juice feast and making sure that you're getting adequate calories and nutrients and biophotons to upregulate cell function so that you can still give your body the digestive break that you're after, but not take away from your performance out in the world.
When did you start this?
So I've been fasting, a long while, as a practice. But as of just this month in March, we're in March, right?
Yeah,
is when I've started this idea of taking a digestive break once a week and give my body just a day of rest.
Is that something you look forward to, or is it something that you dread?
Dude, the juice. If you use Main Squeeze juices, it's like a treat. Like, it was really easy. And if you just have them build a 5 juice protocol, they'll tell you exactly how to do it. And they've got two. They got one where you do like a day, and then one where you do a day plus a meal. And but I like the idea of 36 hours. So I stopped at 8 p.m. 2 nights ago, and I didn't eat until this morning.
Okay.
And so it's about 36 hours, and it's not hard. It's amazing how different your body will feel when you force your body to shift into those 5 hormones that regulate your blood sugar, and you shift those hormones that burn body fat up. You turn up the volume to help purge the toxins, to help purge the bowels, to help open up the liver. And so then we come in with products to help regulate the body's performance. So we come in with adrenal support. We come in with tools to help regulate the liver, or do a bowel cleanse to make sure that you have adequate, what we call, exit strategies. If you don't move and stay active, your lymphatics get sluggish. So like when your tailbone is wiggling because you're walking, your cerebral spinal fluid is pumping. And when your cerebral spinal fluid is pumping, it's activating neurologically all systems to mobilize the lymph system. The lymph system doesn't have a pumping system like your cardiovascular system does. So thankfully, when we're sleeping at night, not moving, our heart is still pumping. Praise be to the Lord. Can somebody give me an amen? Amen. Hallelujah. But if you notice, a lot of people wake up in the morning and they feel sluggish and run down. They feel headachy. They feel a little bit nauseated. They feel a little bit like, I need my coffee to function, or no coffee, no talkie, or whatever the motto is, right? They got to take some sort of power juice or energy juice or something to get going. If you find yourself not able to just to wake up, drink 12 ounces of water and have a bowel movement within 10 minutes, your system is already behind and slow and sluggish. That is a sign of liver congestion, and your lymph didn't pump well through the night because you weren't active. And I would say that's why you toss and turn, is your body is trying to move something around, and it's making you, if you will, subconsciously uncomfortable to keep you somewhat active so that you don't stagnate because you're so full of it, I hate to say. But the lymph tissue will come in and will push the lymph system with Spanish radishes. Spanish black radish is a great mineral, and it's a great lymphatic purge. Garlic and hawthorn to help turn on the circulatory jets and get the body warmed up. We'll start, as a drainage remedy, we'll make sure that the kidney and bladder are working like they're supposed to. And we want to mobilize toxins through these exit channels effectively. So if your bowels aren't moving, your liver is going to be stressed and your kidneys are going to be stressed, and you're not going to have any energy. It's going to be internalized, trying to solve an internal blockade instead of you having output energy and productivity to give to the world around you. And then we give liver support. Liver Force is a great liver product that we use in our office. And by the way, you can visit our website at justlivewell.com, or you can call us at 281-554-8600 and be a part of what we're doing. In March, we launched our Zorona program. It's a membership protocol that gives you access to the Zorona all throughout the month, and you get up to 2 sessions per week for $300. And we also have 6 visit packages and 12 visit packages available for people that want to engage in the light laser therapy. I mean, it's an amazing way to stimulate detoxification and to get your cells to start turning on and upregulating, and then we'll come in behind it and help you maintain the results through proper lifestyle management. Again, keeping you moving, keeping you active, making sure those exit channels are working like they're supposed to. We'll teach you how to take care of your bowels. I just was talking last week about Bernard Jensen's, tissue cleansing through proper bowel management. And it is amazing just how important it is and how simple it is. Go back to the basics. When's the last time you cleaned out your bowels? When's the last time you had a good bowel movement that you didn't have to wipe 30 times? Not to be gross, but just to educate you. You got to understand that you can tell a lot by your body by how well it eliminates. Are you full of acne? Are you full of rashes? Do you have a swelling in your skin? Do you feel like you're having hot flashes? Or you kind of just hot-natured and you don't really know why? Those are indications that your body's using the wrong exit strategy to get the toxins to move, and we can help you move stuff through the more appropriate tissues just through good education. Stuff that you can apply right now. Good water intake. How much water should we be consuming a day? And it's 32 ounces per 50 pounds of body weight. That'll match for young kids. It'll match for adults. And then we continually look at what it takes to get the endocrine system to engage. So your metabolism. People oftentimes go, well, what about my thyroid? Is that why I'm gaining weight? But my doctor says my thyroid is why. So I need to take this thyroid drug. Well, a sluggish liver and a sluggish bowel always leads to a sluggish thyroid, or a dysfunctional one at that. I've even seen where it flip-flopped and went hyperactive. So just call it dysfunctioned thyroid problems, either hyper or hypo, autoimmune, or not autoimmune. It doesn't matter. It's still going to be downstream. If you go fix the exit strategies, toxins won't build up in your body, and your body won't have to sabotage or create a dysfunction elsewhere trying to fix your downstream problem. And typically, that's the mystery, is if you can clean your body up well enough, which requires you to make some lifestyle choices, all of a sudden you come in and your endocrine system starts functioning and firing well. I had a lady come in yesterday, and her entire endocrine axis was disrupted, and it was because of stress. Okay, so that was causing a drain on her mineral system, and her cortisol levels and adrenaline were up. I mean, she was like, I want to quit my job. Like, I hate what I do. And she goes, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. She was just like unloading, right? And we got in there and started checking, and we found not only was her endocrine system tired, her adrenal system tired, we also found a barrier to healing. We found metals and chemicals that were disrupting the communication between her brain hormones and her adrenal hormones. So hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenals were dysfunctioned. So we had to help her body eliminate those barriers to healing so that when she takes the support to upregulate endocrine axis support, she would function better. I had another lady last week that she's got a fetish, not a fetish, an addiction to cigarettes, and she wants to stop smoking really bad. And but her stress, she was like doing really good, and she was hadn't smoked. She was just using the patch and some nicotine toothpicks or something, and all of a sudden she has a stressful week. The suddenlies, right? The stressful week comes on, and she goes, It's not so much that I want the nicotine anymore. It's that I just need to do the function. I need to do the action of smoking. And so I was thinking through this, and I started testing and found her endocrine axis was weak. And it dawned on me. I remember a mentor told me one time, he said, anytime you're dealing with people with fetishes, whether they're biting their nails, whether they scratch their skin, whether they have ticks, their endocrine system is potentially toxic. Well, she's a smoker. Of course she's toxic. But that if you can enhance, if you can upregulate, if you can support where the dysfunction is in the endocrine axis, the pituitary, the thyroid, the adrenal glands, the gonadal system, that whole system as a whole, and the way that it communicates, you can outperform their fetish. You can outperform their addiction. And so, of course, it comes back to how are we going to go about? We used a homeopathic to help pull out the chemicals and the metals. We used lymphatic support to drain off the excess, and we made sure those bowels were moving, and then we supported her endocrine system. And we're going to see amazing shifts in the way her body performs just by making that change. Did I take her stress away? Oh, we talked about helping her manage it better, but I can't always fix the externals, right? Some of that stuff, it's kind of like the old saying, it's your bed, you made it, you got to sleep in it. And so if that be the case, and there are some things that we cannot control, what can we control? What are we willing to control? What are we able to control so that we can make sure that it doesn't take just an unhealthy toll on us? And so whenever you're looking at your health, you want to daily assess, where's your stress load today? How'd you sleep last night? Have you been in the gym at all? Are you drinking adequate water? I am shocked. I had a lady come in and she had, she averages 16 ounces of water a day. That's a bottle of water. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, good Lord, how do you expect your body to ever function right on 16 ounces of water?
I feel like you should drink more brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
On accident.
On
just
accident.
Just drinking more.
Please, can I beg? Can I barter? Can I plea? How do I get, this person to kind of wake up and see that just simply water is an important attribute to good quality health. And that's one of the things that people forget is the basics. We always go back to the basics. I try to make health easier because people aren't doing the easy. Why make it complex? They got enough complex going on. They're putting, they're using complicated drugs, complicated procedures, complicated surgeries in order to fix nutritional deficiencies most of the time. Now, if your arm gets lumped off, it's a true blue emergency, don't come to my office. I don't have the technology to fix that. But, man, I can help you heal. I can help you get you stable on the backside and help support that body in a way that others cannot. But I can for sure tell you that if we don't start taking the bull by the horns and leveraging our own knowledge base and educating ourselves to how to take care of this vessel in a world that is promoting health through bad marketing, because falsifying information, people think they're doing the right thing. It's just like the late 80s, early 90s, the fat-free craze. I remember eating fat-free cookies thinking, man, I'm healthy.
Yeah.
Man, that chocolate, Oreo lookalike.
It's like, and it tastes really good too.
It's not too bad. It's just, but sure is, one chemical reaction away from plastic. That using margarine over real butter. It's plastic. I'm eating plastic, and I'm saying, yeah, plastic tastes pretty good. And I'm thinking to myself, how have we been hoodwinked to think that that was a good idea? And then why, once we figure out that it's bad nutrition, that we would keep doing it or expect to keep doing it and get the result of good health?
I think it's because someone may think, well, I've been doing this for my whole life. 10 years, 20 years, 30, 40, 50 years, I've been eating this same thing. My mom made it for me. So, I'm still okay. I'm alive, right?
Yeah. It's interesting how much we can put the body through and still get okay results. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then we tell people, oh, well, those results just come with age. And people start to just believe that generationally, oh, I'm going to get older. I'm not going to have as much energy. I'm not going to feel good. I'm not going to be productive. I'm not going to be, my best because I'm not in my 20s anymore, right? Come on. I always kind of go back to especially when we're talking stomach health or people with heartburn and reflux and indigestion and nausea. If you're on antacids, or worse, if your infant is on antacids, please give us a call, because that is the worst news that I could ever hear, is to disrupt a baby's health at the stomach level, month 1, month 8 that they've been on the planet. There's so many better ways. It's a food allergy. The kid is being exposed to something that he can't digest, and his system is giving you a check engine light, and all we're doing is trying to suppress the symptom and turn the volume down and hope that everything works out. I'm telling you, not good science, not a good practice. If all life starts and stops at the cellular level and nutrition is the fundamental backbone, we got to make sure that we are choosing wisely that for which we're eating. And I think the same goes if you're in your 20s, in your 40s, in your 60s, in your 80s, and your the centenarian level. I mean, at all stages, your diet, lifestyle practices might be a little different, but it's still based on real food. Did it walk? Did it swim? Did it fly? Did it crawl? I mean, these are the things we need to be looking at. Does it have a label? Does it not have a label? Did it grow on a tree? Did it grow out of the ground? Or is it something synthesized that is called the same thing, but definitely is not? If you eat make-believe food, Gardy, what are you going to get?
Make-believe health.
Make-believe health. So let's start choosing real food, real nourishment for our body, and let's start educating ourselves. So every month we have these programs and classes that we teach at our office. How to shrink fat cells in a toxic world is a topic of the month. Last month we did cardiovascular month. We did detox in January. We're always talking about what is going on in our culture, and we're here every week to answer questions to help you get more insight to like where you can start. I like starting with breakfast. I like assessing the bowels. I like assessing the stress. I like making sure that I assess symptom patterns. If I feel really great yesterday and I relatively ate the same things yesterday and I feel worse today, but I changed my breakfast this morning, food is medicine. You can feel the influence of what you ate for breakfast and how you perform mid-morning, mid-afternoon inside of 3 to 4 hours of eating a meal. It's just, are you attuned to it? Do you know what you're looking for? Do you associate the fact that you have a headache right now with, oh, mom had a headache, so I got headaches. Oh, dad had high blood pressure, I got high blood pressure. Oh, whatever the next one is, right? You're going to blame the parent for your problems, or are you going to start going, hey, what if this is something I'm doing? What if there's something I can change? And let's change it. And I'm all for that because I've just seen too often people come in, I make a few dietary changes, add a few products to their regimen of deficiencies that we find, and all of a sudden their body turns the corner. And then we detox them with our foot baths, or we use the laser to help mobilize fat cells and start stimulating cell function to turn on in a way that it wasn't turning on before. And all of a sudden, they're seeing life through a different lens. They go, can I feel like this all the time? Because, when you're 20 and under, I mean, you have so many stem cells and your body's performing relatively effortlessly, although that's not always the case. I mean, I'm seeing more and more young people coming in, I hate to say, where originally I think I was promoting the 35 to 55 market. I see kids that are 22, 18 years old that their hormones are fouled up and their bodies are fatigued and their hormones are wrecked and they have symptom patterns just like somebody you would expect to have in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. The challenge is nothing shows up in their blood work because they're healthy enough, but they're not healthy. But they're functionally ill. Their blood work isn't going to reveal it. But how often do I see that too? Where people bring me blood work and the blood work is perfect according to pathology, disease, diagnosis, but it's unhealthy from a functional perspective. So we look at blood work through a different set of lenses. We use other test modalities to help us see, why is your body breaking down? It's just we've got to get you on the inside the tribe, close to the campfire, into our educational program so that you can be educated and know that there are things you can do, that you can ask questions, that we have plenty of forums, we have plenty of opportunities, gateways into the practice so that you can get your questions answered, get a visit with one of our clinical staff and get care. So if you have been fighting uphill, like how to get well, stay well, be well, and you don't know where to turn, give us a jingle, 281-554-8600, and visit our website, justlivewell.com, and help yourself by getting educated on how to live better each and every day, just through simple practices of good health.
Do y'all have any of the meetups coming up? I know you talk about the tribe and get connected, and I know y'all host these classes and opportunities for people to come meet and see like-minded individuals that are on their health journey.
Yeah, so with the next one's coming up, I don't actually remember the date, but I believe we will post it in our chat box, but it's typically at our office every month, and this month, we're talking about shrinking fat cells in a toxic world, because people want to get rid of this stuff. They want to understand, like, well, I thought fat was bad. I thought eating fat was bad. And what do you want me to eat? So, we have programs and protocols, and I like to just listen to people's stories, have them fill out a food log, see what they're doing. Because some people come in and their diet is so trashed and wrecked that telling them that is discouraging. So we don't want to tell them that. But we want to say, all right, well, let's just take this diet and we're going to make 1 degree of change, and so it could be just working with breakfast. I mean, I've had people, take oatmeal, and people go, I thought that was heart healthy. No, it's not heart healthy, because the one that they're promoting is full of toxins. It's got full of sugars. It's full of artificial stuff. You don't want that. Plus, you're microwaving it. No good. You're going to have to learn how to cook on a stove again. So we might have to start over at the very basics with some of these folks, right? And so my daughter, 3 out of my 4 kids now know how to make their own oatmeal. And they will make steel-cut oats or quinoa oats or buckwheat oatmeal, 3 different varieties, by the way, so that's kind of cool. They get 3 different sources of starch, but they always, put good amounts of healthy butter in it. They put cinnamon and stevia or healthy organic honey or maple syrup, but they always add the secret ingredient, which at the end, 30 seconds before you take our oats or oatmeal or quinoa or buckwheat off the stovetop, they put an egg in it. And they stir that egg in there, and people go, ooh, that's gross. You don't even taste it. You turn the heat off, you let it just it cooks it just enough, that it's cooked, but it's not cooked so much that it looks or tastes like an egg. And it's amazing how many times we've gotten good. It's like what we call an upgrade. You're upgrading the food. Then a good salad and a salad vegetable dish for lunch, or a light protein and salad or veggie dish for lunch, and then you do a meat and veggie type dinner, and then we find places. So if you go 20, 21, 25, 36 meals and you eat clean, pick your number. I don't care what the number is. Then on that 22nd meal, on that 27th meal, on that 37th meal, give yourself a healthy cheat. And I say healthy cheat in the fact that if you go out and eat a pizza and a half, you might have overconsumed. I mean, even cheating, you got to be a little bit rational. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you eat, normally only would ever eat a burger and you eat 2 burgers, that might get you in TREBLE, trouble. It might clog the system. It might back things up. And so we look at helping people see that, oh yeah, I really don't have to eat everything. I mean, I get to do it again. But we have such this mindset. Oh, I get to cheat. Oh, and by the way, it's a cheat meal, not a cheat day. You know what I mean? Some people go, does that mean I can have anything I want today? I'm like, no, it means you get to have anything you want in a meal within reason. If you notice every time you have a cheat meal, you feel terrible for 3 or 4 days, consider what you ate. You're like, you know what? For me, it was the chocolate cake. On my 37th meal, I would have a big fatty dish. It'd be like a steak and potato and salad, or it'd be, fish and lots of butter and, whatever. And it'd be rich and savory, but then I'd go gobble down, a nice hunkin' piece of chocolate cake, and I'd feel like junk for 3 days. I stopped eating the cake, and I felt fine for 3 days, and I felt like I indulged heavily in a good, healthy cheat meal, because it was rich in healthy fats. It was rich in just good, savory foods, and I felt happy about it. So you kind of start learning how to tinker with your diet, the more familiar with the patterns that you're getting into. And I think you should integrate, plant-based diets, into protein diets, into low-carb diets. I use diets like tools. So we try not to build a cookie-cutter protocol, although we will, if that's where you need to start, because we're going to get on your team. We're going to get alongside you. We're going to help you see where the glitches are. And we do that through the history. So in our histories, we listen to the story, we build a care plan, and we have you get enrolled, because we can't do it for you. But we can get alongside you and lift you out of the mire, if you will, of diseases and symptoms and pathologies that are developing, that have developed, and that are manifesting into conditions. We don't want you suffering needlessly. We don't want you aging in the accelerated aging lane. We want to get you off that accelerated aging lane into the healthy living zone and enjoy your life. Activate those longevity genes, activate those vitality genes, and we've got tools galore at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center to help you do that. So again, give us a call, 281-554-8600, or visit our website at justlivewell.com. We've been out here for quite some time now, and we're just evolving and growing. We got clinical staff growing and serving more and more people in the area. And we're just thankful. We're thankful for you guys. We're thankful for the opportunity to be a voice of reason in your life and to help you be educated to live better, be better, and stay better one bite at a time. So God bless you today. Hope that today is a blessed, wonderful, beautiful day in your world, and we will see you next week.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. So 323, March 23rd on a Tuesday, that's the next meetup. So if you're watching right now, make sure you put that in your calendar and you can attend that.
Every month, man, we could doing something fun. So it's been really good for folks. So I'm just glad to be here with you, Gardy, and can't wait